Welcome to the Magic World Reviews, Week 4. I'm James Anthony and this is...
Daniel Meadows.
Yes, we have a special guest. We're without Sam Fitton this week. He is off skydiving somewhere. But we have an honoured gentleman in, the inventor of Infamous, the inventor of Deadly Mark Deck, the inventor of...
No, that's right.
2 new tricks coming out at Blackpool. We'll tell you about them very soon.
But enough of that. I'm the poor man, Sam Fitton, so I'm just standing in just while he's...
Yes, he will be back soon though, so don't despair. However, we're reviewing several tricks today. We've set up a timer, so we don't want to make you watch this for too long. So the timer, we're going to keep it to about 6 minutes per trick. 7 minutes.
We'll see how we go.
But I know you have a lot to say about certain ones.
I do.
So, without further ado, we're going to move on. Let's start off with the Scryer, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. The Scryer project. Ignore these cards behind there just to stand them up. So, first views on this. 2 DVD set.
If you're into your mentalism, I'm meant to be here to represent the sort of mentalism side of the community, so I will do what I can with that. Most people will have heard of Neil Scryer. He's got quite a few books out there now, started with the black and the white books. There's Scryer and Friends, there's the reading. He's got a lot of work out there. He's a practicing psychic in New York, hence the sort of pseudonym. What this is, it's his material released. I think you get at least 4 or 5 books worth of material where they sample one trick. You've got Andrew Gerard on there, who's done his The Process previously. You've got Richard Webster, who's like the guru, known for his A to Z psychometry. And then you've also got Paul Romhany, who's a working magician through the trade shows, cruise ships, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. So, pretty good performers on this then, should we say? You know, a large calibre of performers.
Yeah, there's some big names on there.
Now, there's quite a few aspects of this that we're gonna come to. We don't want to disappoint anyone. It's a great DVD. Don't get me wrong. You will learn a lot from this. If you're into your mentalism, it's good. But I shouldn't say it's great, should I? It's not great, is it? Let's be honest.
Give your thoughts.
Okay, my thoughts. Why do I have to go first? That's just wrong. Okay, my first thoughts. I was a bit disappointed when I watched it. I heard all this hype. I'll be honest. I'm not a mentalism buff. I've not read a million mentalism books like yourself. I do have, though, the hypnosis background. And what I found odd was he never really mentioned hypnosis. He just mentioned it once in one of the explanations. I could see that everything he was doing was using the hypnotic language, which I'm afraid you can't learn how that sort of language works, the NLP and the patterns, on a 2-disc DVD.
Okay. I don't think that that's what this is about.
I agree, it's not.
So, what this is Andrew Gerard found one of the effects on there, so we're talking about the Out of This World newspaper edition, and the other one was the Crematory Journey. What he's done is taken something off the page that's quite brief, and then moulded it, because he's a working hypnotist, he's done everything else, so it's almost like it was Darren Brown's special. I've now come to James Anthony and said, right, you've got your special. What are you going to do? And he picked an effect, and he worked it, and he added himself to it. So I think if you're looking to how to go about moulding something, adding yourself into it, adding the process, is probably what Andrew Gerard would say.
But he didn't talk too much about that. Originally he was teaching you that routine, bringing the thoughts from the back of the head to the front, and using that sort of hypnotic language without describing what he said in thorough detail. That's
Again, I don't think that you're meant to learn his presentation. I think it's more to watch how he approached the challenge.
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
What
But overall, very simple product, very simple effects. That's the whole point of Scryer, isn't it?
Well, that's disc 1, isn't it? So
disc 1, yeah, very simple effects. I didn't really feel like I got a lot out of it. 2 tricks are described on disc 1, and an interview at the end, which was pretty good. But there was a lot of talk, and I didn't really feel to get a lot out of it myself. That's my view. Let's move on to the mentalist expert.
No, I'm certainly not an expert.
No.
If we're talking about disc 2, if I just have a look at it, you've got Paul Romhany. He goes through, so you've got Spinner on there. I actually preferred, you could do an adapted version, use Ted Kay's Diamond Penny, I think it would be called, from the Penguin Live lecture, or look at Luch's freebie with his Black Project. Have a look at that, and you could adapt this if you liked it. You get the second watch stop. I wasn't too keen on that. I think most people overlook Scryer's Svengali. I don't think it should have had that in the name. The good part about having that in the name is that no one will look at it because they'll think, oh, that's beneath me. But I think it's fantastic. The only other person I've seen use a Svengali deck like that would be Bill Goldman. And it flies by most people. So I do think there's value in that. One of the downsides for me was the psychometry A to Z, or A to Z, Richard Webster. I think it's just a taster of what it's about, and it almost comes across as Sesame Street for mentalists. It's A is for apple, B is for banana. You're not really going to get enough into the system. If you already knew about it, it's nice to see Richard Webster in action and talking through it. But if you didn't know what psychometry A to Z was, you're not going to get enough to be able to use it from this, I wouldn't have thought. So I'm left feeling, although I like it, I don't know who it's for. It's almost like Lord of the Rings, the DVD. It's only going to appeal to people who've read the book, Lord of the Rings. If you were trying to get into some of the Scryer stuff, because it is priced a little bit more, I wouldn't necessarily recommend going for this. I think you go for this if you've got the books and you like them. If you wanted to get into Neil Scryer, the book I would recommend, because I've read it, is I prefer the which one came first? The white book, but you probably get that as the black and white book now because they put a companion. Other people recommend the first book to buy of Neil Scryer's being The Carnival of Secrets. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend the DVD if you haven't read any of the books.
Here's the main question. If you were going to recommend a certain book, out of all the Scryer ones, for someone who wants to get a bit of Scryer in them, which book would it be? Because we're going to leave that.
Did you not just listen to what I said? Okay.
Which one would you which one would you buy out of all the different books?
Out of all the ones.
Which one would you recommend
the
to the
first
viewer?
one, only because I haven't read Carnival of Secrets, so I can't do that. But I know people recommend that. Other people who have read that and other ones recommend the black and white book. So I think it's called the Practical Psychics Little Black and White Book because it was two books as one. What you get in there is quite a few of the different bits. You get the stuff about invisible butterflies, karma, all that stuff. You get the pendulums, you get the readings, you get some of the almost table hopping stuff. You get a wide selection. I'm not convinced that anyone who didn't know Scryer would buy this DVD and then seek out the books. That would be my worry. But if you've already got the books, or if you saw the DVD advert and you liked what you saw, go for it. But I don't think it's necessarily going to turn anyone onto Scryer if they haven't already read some of the books. That's my concern.
In that case, I'll put a link to those books down below in the Show More section of YouTube so that you can look them up yourself. There was one aspect which I clean forgot to mention, which, again, I didn't enjoy seeing too much, was, I'm going to get shot by saying all this, but to see the woman cry twice on the DVD in the explanation and in the actual performance is not something I enjoy. Now, as a professional hypnotist, I know there's experiments that to be done, and I know it's like living and dead and all these different things. She had a really powerful feeling afterwards. She was left feeling good, and she felt like she had an out-of-body experience. She felt amazing. Did you need to make her cry to get that to the end goal? I don't know whether that's really required. Why does it have to be that? That's my only thing with it. As a hypnotist, you never want to make someone feel bad, you only want to make them feel good. But apart from that, I got quite a bit from this DVD, even though, like the Svengali trick you mentioned, very good. So we need to wrap this up.
Okay.
Out of 10, this is where we're both going to come up with an agreement of what we're going to rate this.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to be out clear. I'm going to give this a 6.
Okay. I can fully understand why. I think my issue with this is that if you're a Scryer fan, you've got all the evidence to be a Scryer fan from this DVD. If you're a Scryer hater, you've got all the evidence to hate Scryer from this. So some of the things that you might get in there, one of the effects, I think it's Spinner. Paul Romhany's got a seance bell going in the background. I thought they were filming in a corner shop because the bell was just going off and off and off. And I thought it was quite distracting for me. You've got.
I didn't get that as well. Why was that bell going?
I don't know. So if people mention about the incense burning because the Scryer fanatics in the air, if you don't like Scryer, this is the evidence you need. Everything to just write it off. Right. I would give it a solid 7 for me.
Okay.
There was stuff I liked in it. There was stuff I liked seeing how Andrew Gerard brought things to life. I liked more of his performance theory and what he was doing about it. And the Paul Romhany stuff was good as well. Okay. But if you don't like it, I can fully understand why.
So let's meet in the middle. 6.5 is what Scryer gets. Are you happy with that? Woo!
No. I've left him hanging. That's terrible, isn't it?
That's just wrong, guys. Tell him off for it on the YouTube. Show more comments below.
Bring Sam back.
Let's move back on. Let's move on to the next one, okay? So that's Scryer. Let's move on to FairPLay. Now, we've got to keep this quick because we've done 10 minutes talking on Scryer.
There's a lot to say.
This has got to be 5 minutes, no more, starting now.
Right.
What's your views, good or bad?
Right, okay, I'm again meant to represent the more mentalism side of things. I think this is mental magic, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'm amateur, I'm not a working pro, so I'm slightly different. I think if you didn't get yourself a treat for Christmas and you want a gadget, this is a cool gadget. You will sit there playing with it and you'll smile because you'll think it's ace. If you're talking about pure mentalism, I don't know why you would have that keychain. I don't know why you would have recorded it in that. Out of all the different ways you could have recorded it, and it's only fair to say this has got a long heritage. We should give the shout out to Deddy Corbusier and Paul Richards for the original free will effect that uses the bit that it does. Creative language.
It is clever, isn't it?
It is.
It's really clever.
It's a great gadget. It's a great gadget. If you like the gadget, it does everything you need it to do.
Exactly.
I just think there are potentially other ways of doing that.
Yep.
Some of them have a little bit of process to them.
Exactly.
So it does cut down on some of the process. So if process was an issue for you, you can just say, do that, do that, do that, bang.
And if you just want to, if you could buy this and you could be doing it within half an hour, there's nothing to be done. You could take it down to the pub, do it easy, no problems.
The only bit I'd say with that is it doesn't get rid of the free will principle, Corbusier's free will principle. You still need to do it. So I still think you need to practice that bit.
I'm not saying don't practice.
No.
I'm not saying don't practice.
I'm just being clear.
I'm just saying it's one of those things that you don't have to take a piece of paper on, this and that. You just do it.
It does reset. It is a little bit fiddly, is all I'll say. You've got to make sure it's lined up. They do go through how to do that. So you've got a sort of reversing process to get it back as it was. I wouldn't necessarily be happy with someone watching what I was doing to try and get that back because you'd be doing some weird things with that. Well, that was me.
What we'll do is we'll just, in a second, after this interview, I'll get my phone, we'll shoot a little downward position of it, and we'll show it you coming out at different positions so that you can see it changing, how it works. Is that all right to do that? Well, as best as possible. We won't give it away fully. What we're going to do, we're going to show you that it does display different things. And what I noticed, I had to tap this little gimmick a few times just to get it to fully work. But overall, I had no problems with it.
On the DVD, there are handling tips, so if you've got something, it does clear itself. I know there's been a few issues, people mentioning. I didn't have those issues if you do what it tells you to do. There's also an insert, a piece of paper, folder paper insert on there, telling you a different way of resetting it. I found that to work quite well.
Right. Well, basically, We're back!
This happened last time.
It happens every single time. Why do we have to do this? That's a lot.
What is the time?
Okay, we're hurrying up with this. Right, we can't do the look at the time. It's 12 minutes 36. Okay. Basically, you have 3 items. You put one in your pocket. You keep one, and I have the other. And effectively, you can predict which ones are in which. Basically, simple as that.
So you can have influence them, regardless of where they put the objects. You can show that you influence them to do that.
Exactly. So you use the note, the card, and the coin. This is the English version here. So note, the card, and the coin. So it works well, doesn't it? At the end of the day, it does what it says on the tin, and it's clever and it's well manufactured.
There's nothing to remember. One of the things that you might consider is because of the different endings, we'll call it that, you might think you need to remember what you need to do that.
Exactly.
There's a nice built-in way of remembering. So they have thought of that. You don't need to remember anything, really, in order to make it work.
My only little criticism is, have I ever in England seen a keyring that looked like this? That's my only criticism. I've never seen that, even that.
Hence why I put it in the mental magic bit.
So it's definitely mental magic,
I don't think you're going to get many sort of psychics here. If they seem to be, that's why I've put like a dividing sort of thing. They seem to be incompatible for me. I don't think you're going to get many people who are raving about this, rushing out and buying that.
Exactly.
But there's nothing
But the reason we've done this, we want to give something for everything. We couldn't really find anything to compare the Scryer project to in terms of the older things. We've got the books and things, so we've decided to mix these two in together, and in the future next review we're going to review items against older items, as we said we would do at the very beginning. So that one is that. Lastly, but not leastly, very quickly, we're going to go on to the Optricks deck, because we're giving this deck away to you. All you're going to do is leave a really nice comment underneath this YouTube video and subscribe to it and tell all your friends. And
anything else?
No. Okay. Something like that. All we need to do basically is leave a nice comment below, say you enjoyed the show, give us tips on ways we can improve for you. What do we think of this? It's pretty good, isn't it? being a hypnotist, I love it as well. It's kind of like, it is...
If I'm meant to be sat here representing the mentalist community, if there is such a thing...
Can we not talk about cool tricks?
Yeah.
Fire wallets.
Okay, yeah, fire wallets and cheese and everything else.
He doesn't do fire wallets.
It is cool. It does. If you watch the trailer,
yep.
If you forgetting the fact that obviously the person who's doing it is very, very skillful.
Yep.
If you could do some of that anyway.
Yep.
You can do what you want to do with that deck. So
exactly.
it does the animation, it does other things. It's not going to suddenly do all the sleight of hand, the YouTube eye candy for you, but it is a nice deck.
Right, just hold on to it there. Great, okay. I'm going to take the video. I want you to swirl through it as we do, and we're going to show it live on camera to everyone. Wait until I say go. Ready? Go! That creates a really nice effect. Go on, one more time. Ah, it's cool.
There we go.
So yeah,
I'm
effectively, there we go, we're done. So we're giving away this deck of cards free to anyone at home. So just
if you write a nice comment, if you subscribe, if you name your firstborn after James Anthony.
Exactly. We don't ask for much here at magicworld.co.uk. But anyway, yes, there's a big subscribe button here, or here, or here, somewhere on the screen. So click it if you enjoyed the show.
So before you go anywhere, you need to tell them prices.
Oh yeah?
It's an important part. So just a very, very quick summary. Your Scryer project, if you were curious and you thought of giving this a go, $64.99 gets you that.
We're going to have to go back because I've not reviewed FairPlay properly. We're not giving it a review. We're going to have to start again.
This is why you have Sam. This is why you have Sam. I've been brought in...
No, let's just do this. Right, FairPlay. What are we giving it out of 10? What are we giving it? I'm going to give this a good 8. It works for the beginner and for the intermediate. Someone who doesn't want to go to the extra effort. So I'm going to give it an 8 because it's well-made props. It's a good gimmick.
I think,
what would you give it?
The key word there was prop. So if you are someone who's against props in Magic and all that represents, it's probably a 0 or 1. If you want a toy because it's Christmas and you like gadgets or anything else, or it does something you need it to do and you've got no other way of doing it, nothing against it. I think it's great for what it does.
So what number are you going to give it out of 10? Be honest.
I think it's a good gimmick, actually. 7 or 8.
7 or 8? Fabulous. So there we go. It's an 8 for FairPlay.
And the price is £29.96.
£29.96 for FairPlay. We have Scryer, which is $64.99. And the Optricks deck, I think it's $8.99.
$8.50.
$8.50. There we go. So, thank you again for joining us. I'm James Anthony. This is
Daniel Meadows.
And we'll see you again next week for a review. Also, if there's anything you want us to review, please leave it again in the comments below. Pop it in the post to us, get in touch on Facebook, and we will get it in the next reviews over the next coming weeks. Hope you have a great New Year. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Over and out from magicworld.co.uk.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Do not hide your phone behind the FairPlay.
Sorry?
You can't hide your phone behind the FairPlay. What do you need your phone for?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Cool.
This is the bonus Easter egg bit now, isn't it? Normal service will be resumed, Sam will be back, you'll be rid of me, so you don't need to put horrible comments on.
I think we did an alright job of that. Apart from getting everything in the wrong orders.
You mean apart from doing the basic bit we were meant to do?
Apart from actually saying it in the order of that's that, that's that, that's that. We still showed them the products, didn't we? We did a job.
Oh dear.
Right, sing a song.